No, they were both in. So RSL was against Dallas.
Okay.
That's Central.
Mm-hmm.
And San Diego was against St. Louis, which is Central.
Okay, well, here, let me point this out to you. Mike lives in San Diego and has San Diego season tickets, so...
But we know where his loyalties lie now, because he only watched the RSL game. Clearly. We know that for a fact.
Hey, everyone, and welcome back to the MLS Now podcast. I'm your host, Russell. You can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ, but more importantly, you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast. There is, however, before we can dive into that, we have to address the elephant in the room. Some people may not be aware of this. Our co-hosts, whom you can find on social media at LionsBlog1, did in fact celebrate another trip around the sun recently, turning, an indeterminate number of years, because it doesn't matter, because he's older, he's wiser, and he's here on the podcast to grace us with his increased wisdom. It's Gavin. Gavin, hey, first, happy birthday. Second, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Not a ton of people wished me a happy birthday. And you know what?
I tried so hard to wish you a happy birthday, Gavin. I tried and extremely, more than anyone should be reasonably expected to wish you a happy birthday. I was in your missed calls nonstop every day last week.
Yeah, you were. Actually, so it's funny because my job, we have a we have a department of like 45, 50 people, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a chat in Microsoft Teams for everybody. And whenever someone's birthday rolls around, the manager of that person puts the person's birthday in the chat, says, please wish blah, 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 happy birthday. My manager didn't do that.
Also understandable, because you didn't make a big fuss of your birthday, Gavin.
I was going to say, I am someone who literally, I worked on my birthday. I don't really celebrate my birthday that much. We didn't really do anything for my birthday. The only thing I did is I treated myself and I bought myself the Xbox Series X, which is coming in the mail because I'm going to do the Microsoft trade-in program to save some money.
Let me understand this correctly. Not only did you dodge all of my calls to wish you a happy birthday, you didn't even have a good excuse, like you were playing your new Xbox to fall back on?
No, it actually comes in tomorrow, so I was not. What was I? I was actually playing my current Xbox and eating dinner and going to bed.
So you're telling me I fall at best 4th on that priority list, probably 5th, considering you didn't mention your wife, who I assume is going to be higher. But hey, I don't make any assumptions, Gavin. I don't make any assumptions. Maybe I am 4th on your priority list. I doubt it, but...
Yeah, my wife's like 50th.
Not fair. Luckily, she doesn't listen to this podcast, so she'll never know until I tell her, in which case, Gavin, how much is it worth to you for me to not tell her?
Not a lot.
Fair enough.
Blackman doesn't work on me either. Well, yeah, it was a good birthday. It was low key.
No,
that's
Gavin,
the way
it wasn't
I like it.
Like a birthday. It was a birthday.
No, I said it was low key. It was low key.
I thought you said it was like a birthday.
No.
I was like, no. It was your birthday, Gavin.
It was, yes. It was low key and just the way I like it, really. I don't like all the hoorah. So, but thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm making a hoorah of it right now. Hey, if you're listening to this, go find Gavin on social media. LionsBlog1. Wish him a happy birthday. All right, Gavin, shall we talk about the most important things in the world, also known as Major League Soccer?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, that was easy. Thanks for listening to the podcast. We just did it. Oof. Okay, Gavin, a lot to process. Where do you want to start? Do you want to go in reverse? Do you want to start with the team that has made history yet again, or do you want to start from the beginning? Because as Dr. Seuss once said, the beginning is a great place to start.
I'm feeling the beginning.
Okay.
Let's go in order.
All right, Suit School, the musical, coming right at you. We're going to head up with Chicago Fire 2, Atlanta United 1, making our lives very easy this week. We actually had 2 correspondent corners come in, 1 for each of those. So rather than me describe the match to you in vivid, luscious detail, right? And you can hear my dulcet tones. We're instead going to have Gavin read out some correspondent corners, get their perspective before we dive in. Gavin, take us away.
And fun fact, actually, both correspondent corners are like largely from Tim. So we're going to be hearing from Tim. So this is for Chicago, the winners. In case you didn't watch the match, Chicago won 2-1 on the night. Their first home win of the season. That's right. It is May. This game was what, May 10th? It was Saturday. So May 10th was their first home win of the season. Pretty crazy to say that, but okay. Chicago Fire found a way to win at home. It was far from their most impressive outing of the year. Heck, it wasn't even their best display in front of the home fans. But it gets the money off Greg Berhalter's back. Oh, I think that's supposed to say monkey. The monkey off Greg Berhalter's back, as he has his first win at Soldier Field as a player or coach. Oh, interesting. It almost wasn't to be. In the 80th minute, Sam Rogers flicked a header with power into the net, unfortunately his own. The clincher is that the center back's worst play in a Fire uniform came just seconds after his best, a perfectly timed slide tackle in his own box to dispossess Emmanuel Lateloth of the ball. Calling his bench solutions after the match rather than substitutions, a holdover from his United States men's national team tenure, Berhalter's move to bring on Omari Glasgow, Romanique, I think, Kwame, and Marin, oh my gosh, Haile Selassie, right after the own goal, soon paid dividends as the three combined for the game winner. The Fire now embark on a lengthy road trip, but a winless April has swiftly turned into an undefeated May. A win and a draw in MLS accompanied by a win over Detroit City in the U.S. Open Cup midweek. Impressively, they've done it using local talent. The Fire have gotten a league-leading 4,409 minutes from Academy products this year. That's it from Tim. He mentioned the Open Cup there.
Yes, the Open Cup is a thing.
I haven't done the math. I haven't run the numbers.
6.
But
spoiler alert.
Not 6. How many teams have been in poor form who showed up this weekend and after winning in the Open Cup had a better result this weekend? I feel like just getting the winning feeling would have helped a lot of teams just kind of build some momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I feel like Open Cup might have helped.
Let me think on that. And by think on that, I mean, let me consider how many teams. I think 16 MLS teams were in U.S. Open Cup, of which 15 of them won. The only one that didn't win was NYCFC, losing to Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And NYCFC also lost to Montreal this week, which we will talk about. That's huge. That is incredible news for Montreal. It's also incredible news for NYCFC, but
yes,
different reasons. Whereas, yeah, I mean, a bunch of other teams played in U.S. Open Cup, and
I'm looking through the results.
Okay.
I'm looking through the results. I mean, some of them maybe count towards this team built momentum, and others it just kind of doesn't. Houston won their game pretty handedly, I believe.
Right. And then they did, their normal performance this week.
So, I don't know. It was just a thought that crossed my mind the other day to see if winning in the Open Cup meant that teams were going to perform better in the league, but I don't think that translated. For Atlanta, Tim just has a funny comment and Bryce has a response. Tim, with a question mark at the end of this very long sentence, says, in the transfer market, but the squad build just looks like someone was playing Football Manager drunk, as the team lacks any kind of coherent identity, as they've gone months without a win. Congratulations, Atlanta United. You are the Chicago Fire. So that one was pretty funny. And Bryce just said, I'm fine if they get relegated at this point. Make a new rule, please. So that's where Atlanta fans' heads are at. Yeah. Not where Atlanta United team, players, fans, coaches, owner would have thought they would have been at this stage of the season, it has to be said. So we can probably move on, but yet again, a very disappointing display from the Five Stripes.
Yeah. What stands out to me, Gavin, I was thinking to myself watching this, right? I'm surprised Atlanta didn't score. And I went and I looked back at just like the shot map, right? All but two of Atlanta's shots came from inside the box. Like, you can say a lot of things about them right now, but the opportunities are there. They're just horrific finishing. Is what it comes down to. I mean, you can't take, what was this, 11 shots inside the box. Like, come on. Only two of those were on target. Two, Gavin.
I do wonder how many of those were headers, though. I feel like they had a decent number of crosses. I could be wrong though.
Well, I can tell you, I'm clicking through the shot, and almost everyone I've clicked on has been left or
Just
right
regular.
foot.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, one of their two shots on target was Moranchuk from like 35 yards out.
Mm. Yeah.
So one of their 11 shots in the box was on target. That is bad.
I think I'm thinking of a different game. Hey, speaking of Moranchuk, because I believe he's the one who gives away the penalty.
Moranchuk also bad. Not a good.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
I think.
you saw the penalty, right? The handball.
Yeah.
Um, it's just another instance of my take that handballs like that should just be an indirect free kick. It should never be a almost guaranteed goal for Chicago. It is what it is, but it's brutal. And I know we'll get onto that when we get to your game as well. But
This is a hot take. I actually didn't have an issue with the handball.
no, it's a foul. It's a handball call. But I
Right.
think it should be an indirect free kick, not a penalty. But
Yeah.
that's just the way the rules are.
Yeah. We'll talk about that one more.
Yeah.
Weirdly, one of the few times that I was completely okay with the handball call.
Oh, you're talking
But
about Cincinnati.
yeah, right. That's my game. What game are you talking about?
I'm talking about the handball in the Chicago game.
Oh yeah, well, you mentioned my game, so I was
Well,
like, oh,
I jumped back without telling you, so poor
okay.
communication on
Well,
your part.
how about this? I'm going to communicate to you that we're. Wait, hold on. Poor communication on my. You almost slid that one past me, Gavin. Almost. All right, I'm
Slick.
communicating this to you right now. Minnesota really annoyed David Beckham this weekend after a 4-1 win over Miami at home. Minnesota social media admin had Beckham in the mentions on everything. Minnesota, first of all, great win, right? Iconic win. You got to love seeing a team win at home in their home stadium, no less. They did not move this match. They did not go to like a bigger stadium to try and milk the ticket money. I saw a picture in a group chat someone found. It was along the Minnesota sidelines, and it said something like the best fans, right? Because it was talking about like it was like an advertisement, but above it was a bunch of Miami fans in Messi jerseys walking up the aisles, presumably leaving.
Yeah, with the
Uh,
score 4-1 in
yeah,
the
which was
scoreboard.
just incredible juxtaposition. I mean,
Yeah,
chef's kiss to whoever managed to get that.
yeah. Yeah, great game from Minnesota United. A full game. I saw them go 2-0 up right before halftime, and I was worried. What is the thing that we've been seeing from them this season? They go up early, they in these big games, and then they struggle to close out the match. And, it got a little scary there. Messi made it 2-1 pretty quickly after halftime. But they held on and they kept their nerve and they go on to win 4-1. It's a huge win. The social media stuff afterwards is hilarious, of course, with I think it was a great tifo. I don't remember
Yeah,
exactly what it
which
said, history over
it,
culture or
it
some
said it said history over hype,
hype,
culture over
culture
cash,
over cash.
and
Okay,
then they
that's what it
had
was.
hype and cash in pink.
Pink, yes.
Right.
And then they had a social media, what is that called, caption that said Pink Phony Club. Yeah,
Yes. Yep.
just
And boy, oh boy,
excellent.
Beckham did not. He did
No,
not like either of those things.
no. I guess for our listeners who haven't seen it, I'll search for the exact comments of what he said, so we can have it word for word.
I believe his comment, word for word, on the tifo was respect over everything.
Oh, really? I didn't even see that
Yeah.
one. I
Mm-hmm.
see. Show a little respect at MNUFC. Be elegant in try. Jeez. Hilarious. I mean, come on. It's social media. They're having a little dig, a little fun. You don't need to be crashing out because your team's doing bad. It's okay.
Come on. Come on. Hey, Beckham, you said it in that one interview. Be honest.
Be honest. Yeah.
Be honest. They're being honest.
Yes, they are. So yeah, fantastic win for Minnesota United. They were just perfect on the day. I feel like they defended well. They countered aggressively. I thought Tani Oluwaseyi was fantastic on the day. Just overall, really impressed with how they won this game.
Yep. I will say, if you care to look at the numbers, boy, this was a wild overperformance of Minnesota's numbers. Just for the record, like 4-1 as a scoreline, it is great, wonderful, amazing, big statement win. That is not a repeatable performance, in fairness. Like, in no world do they do that again.
No, the own goal helps too. Like
The own
to
goal
get a
helps.
goal from 0 xG technically. Yeah.
Yeah. Lod or Lude, like his goal, screamer. I mean, that's something you make. You get 2-3 of those a season tops as a team. So
Right.
there's
Yeah.
one of them.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely agree.
Otherwise,
I mean, 26% possession. We know they're a low possession team, and Miami's I almost said Messi. Miami's a
Messi
high
is a high
possession team.
possession. Yeah, Messi's high possession.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but they didn't do anything with it. Like, come on. Like, if you look right, I'm really just today. I'm vibing with shot maps. If you look at Miami's shot map, 2 shots inside the box, Gavin. All that possession, 2 shots inside the box.
yeah, it's definitely not good enough.
Yeah, I mean, but at the same time, like I don't know, you can't expect any team to be high scoring if you're being held to 2 shots inside the box and everything else has got to come at distance.
No, and it's not just like Miami bad because like the players are old or anything. Like I think some of it is literally Mascherano's attacking approach. Like how many times have like I feel like you can envision it. They get the ball to Jordi Alba. He does a cross to the top of the 18-yard box trying to find Messi. Now I think that's how they score their goal, if I recall correctly. But it is so predictable now. Try to find Jordi Alba on the overlap wide. He's not even going to really cross it into the box all the time. He's going to try and find Messi top of the box, and then Messi hopefully does some magic. It that feels like their main attacking approach. And then on the right side, it's like get it up the field to then keep possession. Like I don't feel like their right side has any potential threat of scoring. It just feels like get it into the final third so we can then try to find Messi or Suarez and score from there. And it's not good enough from a coaching perspective, in my opinion.
No, there are many coaches that will outcoach Mascherano. One of them, apparently, the coach of Minnesota United, Aaron Ramsey. But I mean, it's not
Eric.
unique to just
Eric.
Aaron Ramsey, Eric Ramsey. A guy can get one Manchester United player confused with an Arsenal player. It's allowed to happen. It's not unique to Ramsey, right? Like there's a lot of pretty strong coaches in the league this year, and we're seeing it. I mean, Miami's starting to fall off a little bit, I would say. I mean, just look at the standings, right? Actually, yeah, let me just look at the standings here real quick. How far down have Miami gone?
They
Not just
haven't.
in the East, but in the Shield. I mean, Miami's sitting in 4th, right? They were in 1st to start the season.
Yep.
You look at the Supporters Shield, Miami's sitting in 6th in the Shield. I mean, look, they're a good team, but like Vancouver, incredible team right now. Cincinnati, going really strong. Columbus, Wilfred Nancy, arguably top, if not, top 2 coach in the league, depending on your stance on Sorensen. Philadelphia is like they're in early season Bradley Carnell mode where they still have the energy to press the heck out of other teams and win games. Minnesota, Eric Ramsey, right?
Mm-hmm.
Experienced from his time at Manchester United, like competent coaches. And you've got some other pretty good coaches right below. I mean, we're not even talking Seattle, right? Brian Schmetzer always pulls Seattle up the table as the season goes on. How many, like, how many of the teams above Miami beat Miami if they play right now?
All
Obviously,
just
yeah.
about all of them. Obviously, Columbus has played Miami, and Columbus
Well, yeah.
lost, but that was kind of a freak game. I feel like.
It was
Um,
also a home game that was quote unquote home
yeah,
in Cleveland.
yeah, not great. Not a great idea. I think. I guess I'll say it this way: every single team above them, Vancouver, Cincinnati, Columbus, Philadelphia, Minnesota, on their day are probably at this point in time favorites to beat Miami.
Yeah. And I put a lot of that down to tactics because there's footage on Miami. To your point, Gavin, you already broke down the key thing that Miami's doing.
Jordi Alba trying to find Messi. If that doesn't
Yeah.
work, Messi, please save us.
Right. And I mean, look, Messi's an incredible player, generational, right? When you sit 10, 11 guys between Messi and a goal at a professional level, he's Messi, but come on, this is 11 professional players. Like, that's a tall task.
Yeah, it's not Messi in his prime. It's
It's
old
Messi,
Messi.
37, 38.
Is he 38 now? Maybe he's 37. But I mean, yeah, he's old.
Either way, okay. Final take on this before we move on. Agree or disagree? Miami tactics are stale, and they will continue to slide until they are below 8th in the Shield standings.
I think I agree with that. We have midweek action coming up this week. But yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how the next few weeks treat them. We're gonna move on. We're going to Toronto. DC United Toronto have finally got a second win. I believe this is their second of the season. Win over DC United. It's 2-0. It's at home. The fans really, really deserve this one.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hey,
I mean,
I'm just gonna
yeah.
tell you a couple funny stats for
Tell me the stats,
the
Gavin.
first half of this game.
Okay.
So first half of this game ends 0-0 at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto,
Yes.
13 shots, 4 on target.
Okay.
59% possession.
All right. I'm ready for DC, where this is going to become very funny.
1 shot, 0 on target. 41% possession.
Yeah. So tell me they had more possession than Sporting Kansas City in the the now famous 0-shot 1-goal match.
Yes. DC United, 1 shot in the first half was from Schnegg, their left back, from probably a solid 35, 40 yards out. Yeah, that was their first half. Now, they got through it without conceding.
Their second half, Gavin.
Their second half, their first shot, if I'm remembering correctly. No, I'm not remembering correctly. They had a shot right after the goal for Insigne. And then they kind of woke up and had a couple of really good moments in the game. But it took the goal to really wake them up, essentially. But this was all Toronto before they scored. And then Toronto gets the second own goal, and they just kind of saw the game out. But I think it's really poor from DC. I think this is a game they would have wanted to win. Like Toronto, you look at them and you're like, ooh, I think we can get a win there. And it's just like, no, they didn't even show up until they had to.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, right? I was looking because I was thinking to myself, did Christian Benteke even play in this? And I went, and not only did Christian Benteke play in this, he went 90 minutes. He had 4 shots, but like that just goes to show, like, when did he contribute?
He forced a couple of decent saves out of Johnson. I'm not going to say that Johnson did anything crazy against Benteke, but like I think he made the saves you would expect a goalkeeper to save.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, he was 5 saves on the night.
So yeah, Toronto dominated that one. DC woke up after getting scored on, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah. All right. That's all I got on that. Not a whole lot. I mean, look, it's a good win for Toronto. Ultimately, I mean, that's all it is. DC United continue to, where are they again right now? Ooh. Yeah.
With Montreal's win, I mean, they're probably really close to them. Oh no, okay, they have a little bit more.
I was gonna say let's not get crazy here. With Montreal's win helps them make up some ground, but they are not out of the woods. Yeah.
Okay.
DC United sitting 12th right now with 12 points.
Okay.
We had high hopes for DC going into the season.
No, no, we did not. I
Christian
promise you, we
Benteke.
didn't. I promise you. Yeah, I'm gonna go look at our predictions real quick.
I feel like we had DC like as a borderline playoff team.
Okay, 4 of the 5 of us had DC in 14th, including yourself.
Dang, really? My
We were not
memory's
high
not
on
what it
them.
used to be.
And then
I feel like Beau
Beau,
probably had him. Yeah.
he had them 12. So
Beau's spot on. He's a
yeah,
visionary.
yeah,
Call the season right now. That way
yeah.
Beau can just get it.
No, yeah, we had DC like down bad this
Dang.
season.
Why do I feel like we felt more positive on? Maybe I'm getting Christian Benteke blinded,
Maybe.
who is still arguably one of the best pure strikers in the league. It's just incredible he's being wasted on DC.
I wish someone would go and buy him because he deserves to like lead a
He
team
deserves
to
to win
glory.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
He
brutal.
deserves literally anything of some sort of hardware.
I can't
All
wait
right,
to
well,
revisit these predictions one day.
but you're sort of revisiting them right now, Gavin. So,
Yeah, I am. I don't want to talk about mine.
okay. Hey, while I have you here, Gavin, what did you get most wrong at this point in the season, and why is it Atlanta?
That would be a close second. But
Ooh,
it's
Galaxy is your other one, right?
no. Well,
No.
they're like a close third.
How's Galaxy third? There's no way you predicted them to be last place.
No, it is who I predicted to be last place. I predicted Vancouver last place in the West.
Woof. Yikes. I really hope that Sorensen's got some of our predictions laminated.
Yeah. Now,
They're doing an Austin.
none of us had them in the playoffs at all. None of us had them in
Not
the playoffs. But no, me and David had them 15th.
not only are they not going to be 15th, they are probably going to be first.
Probably, yes. So, anyways, fun little trip down memory lane. That'll be a fun episode to look back at those.
Incredible. Sometimes we're very smart, and sometimes we get it wrong.
Yes. All right.
All right,
What's our next match?
Gavin. What's our next match? Why just the homecoming of Brandon Vasquez as he returns with Austin FC to TQL Stadium as they play FC Cincinnati. FC Cincinnati get a 2-1 win on the night. Vasquez does get on the score sheet through a penalty. Gavin, now you seem to have some thoughts about this penalty, and I'll just go ahead and say I was in the stadium. I saw it happen. I was like, that's not a penalty. They showed the replay on the screen. I was like, that's a penalty. Yeah, that's a hand out far away from the body, and that's a penalty.
Yeah, so obviously it's a handball in the box. It's a penalty. I'm not complaining about that. I think handball in the box with a non-shot towards goal, and I don't mean like on target shot. I mean just like in the direction of the goal, like it's an actual shot. I think those should be indirect free kicks. I really do. And so this one would be a perfect example for me of like, okay, he's trying to block the cross. The dude rockets the cross.
Well, now hold on.
He's very close.
Isn't the cross towards goal?
No, it's across the face of goal.
Well, but if it's forward progressing at all, it's moving towards goal.
Okay, you can tell that it's a cross versus someone shooting towards the goal. It's a different angle. So, I know implementing it would be difficult, right? Like there'd have to be very specific.
It would be impossible, Gavin. What are you talking about?
No. Fine, all handballs in the box are indirect free kicks, and people just start picking up the ball at random. No, but like you can see what he's doing. He's trying to block the cross. The cross is hit,
and then he used the sand
at the perfect spot where his arm is. I mean, he's got no time to react to it, and that equals a guaranteed goal when like the cross could have been going anywhere, right? So that's just me being nitpicky with the rules, but I mean it is a penalty. I'm not disagreeing that with the way the rules are written, it's penalty. There's no question in my mind that it's penalty. I just hate the way the rules are written.
Weirdly enough, Cincinnati fans will almost certainly appreciate you talking about Cincinnati more than me because I didn't have an issue with it being a handball.
You're welcome, Cincinnati fans. I am the real
There you go.
Cincinnati supporter here.
That's right. That's right. I'll see you at the next season ticket holder events, Gavin. Surely,
Yeah,
as
for sure.
your
For sure.
dedication will be rewarded by someone, not the FC Cincinnati front office, and certainly not by me, but someone. Anyways, well, hey, listen, it's a good win for Cincinnati. They looked more lively, is the word that I'm going to use to describe their offense. Evander, great goal. I mean, excellent team goal, good interplay. You saw it coming from a mile away when that buildup happened. Got out wide. It got to Angle, who has been excellent out wide. Finally, the team's using those horizontal spaces instead of trying to play through tight, narrow angles and short passes and through a lot of bodies. It just like it was a well worked goal. Even better though, Gavin, did you see the second goal?
The second goal for Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
Um,
okay, if
Valenzuela.
you
Yeah.
yeah, Valenzuela, yep. If you watched it in real time in the stadium, I saw Valenzuela making the run for that. When I rewatched the match, right, the camera angle initially had Valenzuela nowhere in sight. So it just looks like Evander's kicking this ball up, chipping it over players randomly. And you probably see that and you're just like, where's that going? And then a player just appears in frame, slots it in. It wasn't a short run, is the thing. I mean, that's a really well designed, like those two players were in sync. And that bodes very well for a Cincinnati attack that has not clicked much, if at all, this season.
Just from what I saw of the match, yeah, it looked like the attack was clicking. You guys, there was a lot of good interplay between Denke and Evander. Like it felt like they were learning how to play,
Mm-hmm.
or they had learned really how to play with
Right.
each other.
There
And
was some good give and goes from them. Some
yep,
nice like back heel back passes. Like
obviously the assist from Evander. It helps that Evander just is amazing at finding the net from wherever he is around the 18-yard box. Like that is not an easy finish. And Evander just makes it look so simple, like he can do it in his sleep. And he does it in his sleep in this league. Like that first goal should not be slept on. That is an impressive goal. And we see it all the time from him. So yeah, the attack was much better in this game.
yeah. It's interesting that you say it like that because I felt very assured in the stands. When I saw the ball go to Evander, I was like, that's in.
Yep.
That's a goal. And sure enough, he buries it. Doesn't look, very nonplussed, right? Like it was the most normal thing in the world to score, receiving the ball out wide and sending it like between two players and past Stuber. I mean,
Simple.
yeah, this Evander guy's pretty good at soccer.
Yeah.
It's turning out. So
Worth the money. Worth the
yeah,
money.
worth the money. So all in all, yeah, I mean, good sign for Cincinnati. Austin got a penalty, and we have been over that, right? But outside of that, I mean, there were a few good chances, but I'm still nervous. Really, I don't know what to make of this Austin side, and I don't think that they're leveraging the players they have effectively. Like every single shot that Vasquez was in the box trying to finish was to his feet. That's not his game. It's like trying to watch Olivier Giroud score with his feet. It's just it doesn't happen.
Yeah,
You
I
got to use
think.
this thing, this big old forehead.
Yep. I think the squad building is just yet again poor. We talked about the coaching hire a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week. But like, I mean, you look at the squad and there's nothing impressive about it. Even though they dropped all that money, they dropped it on forward talent, but they kind of forgot about how to get the
How to
ball
get the
to their
ball.
forward
Yeah,
talent creatively. Instead, they just were like, "Oh, we'll just figure it out eventually, and they'll score the goal." And that's not happening at the moment.
yeah. I'm just looking at like where the shots were, right? And pretty much all the shots that were towards goal, close up in the box, were Vasquez, and they were invariably blocked. So I mean, again, it's just it how yeah the squad building, the tactics, it's not working. I just I think honestly, just get Estevez out of there. I think a different coach probably makes better use of this roster. It at least gets them out of what are they sitting in, eighth? I mean, like they've got to get out of that rut because they haven't looked good for a hot second.
No, and it's like obviously losing at FC Cincinnati isn't the final nail in the coffin. It's a fair game to lose when you look at the schedule. Uh,
Yeah,
but it's
Cincinnati
just
has not lost at home this season.
no. The season, you can see the performances aren't great. Every single time they win a game, it's super close and it's on the margins. Have they surpassed 10 goals yet this season?
They have not. They have eight.
They're at eight. Yeah, they're at eight. So not a great record in front of goal. We've got teams sitting with like 20, and I don't think we have anyone on 30 yet. Oh, I see we have 26 from San Jose,
Yeah, I
and
was gonna say we're getting there.
they have eight. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's just it's really it's really frustrating to see this team right now. Now this midweek they are home against Atlanta United, so maybe that'll be a get right game. Get right game for maybe both teams can feel that way, but they'll probably beat Atlanta. I see you got the W up for Austin.
yeah. If you can't beat Atlanta at home in Atlanta's current form, that would get Estevez fired,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah, you'd think.
When does Dyla get fired for Atlanta? We haven't talked about it, but
I think
it's
if
kind of
they
coming.
lose to Austin,
Could
and
you
then
imagine Austin and Atlanta getting a 0-0 draw and both of their
both,
coaches getting fired?
that'd be fantastic. I think Austin would be kind of like the final straw because Austin aren't great, and Atlanta, that's a team that you would think he'll last. I think he'll last longer, but like
Who's he?
Dyla,
Dyla?
sorry,
Okay.
Dyla will last longer. I think they're gonna give him as much leeway as possible. Personally, I don't think they're gonna fire him early. He might even get the season. I think. Yeah, that's my gut take on that.
Ooh, Atlanta fans hating your gut right now. They're like, get that man some Skyline chili. Get him a full gut cleanse.
Yeah. All right,
Whew,
where are we
all right.
traveling to next?
Oh, we're traveling to the happiest away fans in the world right now. CF Montreal went to Yankee Stadium, and the Yankee Stadium taxed the Yankees,
Yes.
aka NYCFC, who lost at home against a team that until this past weekend had 0 wins on the season.
Yes.
Away at NYCFC, somehow Montreal's first win. The away fixture that teams always struggle with. And this is where they decided to win.
And not only decide to win, they were pretty convincing in their win. I think this game could
Right.
have been like a 2-1, just like on the chances for both teams. Montreal missed a couple chances. NYCFC should have gone ahead early. Alonso Martinez was on a breakaway and just tried to round the keeper and messed it up when he should have just shot. So it was kind of a back and forth game with chances for both teams, but I do think Montreal edged it in terms of deserving to win. And finally, they actually got the win they deserved. Feels like a couple times this season they deserved to win, but haven't quite gotten over the line. We talked about last week, and I feel it again. But this time, even though they had some poor finishing on the night, they benefited from some poor finishing from NYCFC, and they got the goal from Owusu, and they finally got their first win.
Yeah. But here's a fun stat. Montreal, I love it. They made 3 big chances, missed all 3 of them.
Yeah. Because their
Owusu's
goal
goal was
wasn't.
like, it was the statistically least likely goal out of all their shots, out of all 19 of their shots. I think it was the least or like tied least
I don't know if
likely.
XG takes into account weak foot or not, but I'm pretty sure he's right-footed, and he hits that left-footed into the top left corner, and it's a beautiful goal. But then you see some of the chances he's missed this season, and it's like, come on, dude, like get it together. But like
He needs to be taken only with his left foot. That's what it is.
apparently, yeah,
Apparently, Gavin, it's news to all of us that he might actually be left-footed and not right-footed.
No, I'm saying I think he's right-footed.
Yeah, I know. Apparently he's left-footed.
Yeah. Let's see here.
He didn't even know that.
I'm going on his transfer marked. They usually. Oh, this says he's
Yeah.
left-footed. Okay.
Oh, well,
I
there
thought
we
he
go.
was
Okay,
right-footed.
never mind.
I feel like I've seen him take a lot of shots with his right, though.
Maybe that's why he's not scoring, Gavin.
Maybe, yeah. Could be. Jeez. Well, okay, keep shooting with your left foot, my guy.
Yeah. Good goal. Good goal.
Oh, we have a correspondent corner from
We do have a correspondent corner.
Coach Joe. So let's do this.
Let's hear it.
He says 2-match losing streak, including U.S. Open Cup to Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Eastern Conference worst. Montreal has the Pigeons reeling. If Alonso Martinez isn't scoring, we're not winning right now. Midweek date down in DC United, revenge match for Luis Barraza, and a home Hudson River derby on the weekend. Things could potentially get way worse this week, and the sky may start falling in the city that never sleeps.
First of all, they're going to win against DC United.
I don't know about that.
Second of all, they're going to win in the home Hudson River derby because it's a rivalry match and you can throw form out the window.
I think that's fair. Yeah, that one's fair. But DC United might get the better of them. They might. We'll see. I think that's all I have on the match. I agree with his Alonso Martinez take. Every single week is like Alonso Martinez or nothing.
Yeah,
that's my feeling on
Martinez or bust.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, this is gonna be a random question, Gavin. Do I hear your stomach growling over your microphone?
I think so.
Are you hungry, Gavin? Have you eaten today?
I have. I had dinner before we hopped on, so I think it's just
Apparently,
digesting.
Do you need to take like a break?
No, I don't need to at all. I feel perfectly healthy in my guts.
You don't sound perfectly healthy. All right, well, let's talk about something that's not perfectly healthy for certain fan groups. New York Red Bulls 7. LA Galaxy 0.
Wow.
Ooh.
What is there to even say on this one, right?
I'll have you know, Gavin, this match kicked off at the same time, right? It's it's an Eastern Conference match, kicked off at the same time as FC Cincinnati. I sat there, it was halftime. I pulled up, I'm like, oh, New York Red Bulls 3, Galaxy 0 going into the half. Okay, yeah, but there you go. That match is over. Imagine my shock when I get into the car and I pull up, like MLS 360 to, just play it while I'm driving, and they're just, reviewing what's going on. They're like, New York Red Bulls wins 7-0 over Galaxy. And Gavin, like, thank goodness I was at a stoplight, because I think I double taked down, like, looking, like, to see if, like, that was my sound that I was hearing, or if I was, like, hallucinating it, to see if, like, I was dreaming. Like, have I fallen asleep behind the wheel? Like, has something terrible happened? No. Like, 7-0? Galaxy are down bad. I didn't think they were down this bad to give up 7 goals to, and we can agree on this. Red Bulls are not exactly a prolific attacking side.
No. So a few things on this one. First of all, some context. No Peck, no Paintsil. Obviously no Pooch.
Yes. Look, we knew they weren't winning when we saw that it was the LA Galaxy playing. I didn't need to.
Right, but we knew
to see what players were missing.
We definitely knew they weren't winning without Peck or Pooch, because like there's nothing to fear on offense when it's Miguel Berry and Christian Ramirez. I'm sorry, Ramirez is someone who largely needs service. Berry, that times 10. And then on the wings, you had Fagundes, who just isn't a threat in this league anymore, and Aude, who's a left back. He's just a forward-thinking left back, but he's not going to hurt you. In the midfield, Royce and Cerrillo. Okay, Royce might be able to hurt you, but let's be real. He's had
not
one
scoring.
goal and
all his appearances. He's not going to score more than one, right? He's certainly not bringing you back from 7.
If you're New York Red Bulls, you're really not scared. And also you're up for this match because MLS Cup rematch. And so they were up for it. They were all over them. And the way I experienced it, which was also hilarious, because when I went to the Orlando City game, and whenever I go to the game, I'm always like checking the scores around the league in like dead moments of the game, when someone fakes an injury, when there's a VAR.
Well, you're watching Orlando, so that's most of the match.
Most of the match, yep. And so I look at the score 1-0. like very early on. I'm like, oh, yep, there you go. And then I look at it again, 2-0. And then I look at it again, 3. Like, it was like every time I looked at it, there was another goal. And I think it was pretty much throughout the whole match where it was like 3. And then the second half came around. I saw halftime 3-0. And then 4, 4, 4, 4, 5. Oh.
Galaxy fans
6,
are
7.
begging
And
you
I'm
to
like,
stop checking the score.
we get to that. I'm like, 7-0. 7. Now, the 7th goal is hilarious. But 7-0. Like, wow. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, it was just, it's a team that I think has given up on the coach, unfortunately, which is crazy to say. He just delivered them an MLS Cup, but it's like they look so devoid of ideas, so low on confidence. Like, I know it's not just Ricky Pooge, who that has caused this, but like it does feel like one player missing, they lose Jovic, and like it's all over. They lose Delgado, it's all over. Like, it's just been a nightmare of a season. A nightmare. And now they're the only team left without a win. Yeah, it's terrible. Now, the funniest thing of all is this. I don't know if you saw. Do you follow MLS PR where they release the random stats?
No, but if they didn't release a stat saying this
They
is
were
the worst start to an MLS side that won MLS Cup, then I don't know what stats they could possibly be releasing.
Well, considering this is the worst start in MLS history, of course it's the worst start of a team with the MLS Cup. I think they've already done that one though. No, this one's hilarious to me because it's so niche. It says, by defeating the LA Galaxy 7-0 tonight, the New York Red Bulls tied the largest margin of victory in an MLS Cup rematch the following season in league history, which was Chicago Fire winning 7-0 in 2001. They don't say against who. This is also the second time in club history the Red Bulls have scored 7 goals in a regular season match, which of course the other time was in 2016 against NYCFC. Can't forget that one. So I think that's a super random stat to come out of the match, but in all reality, it's the fact that LA Galaxy go from winning MLS Cup to being the worst ever start in MLS history.
Maybe the worst ever team in MLS history right now.
So
Worth noting, we are 12 match days through the season, over 1/3 of the season.
Only 3 draws. It's not even like they're drawing a lot and they just can't get a win. They are literally just bad.
Point there, Gavin, because it is 0 wins, 3 draws, 9 losses. And here to react immediately to that, the man who forgot that we were recording, you can find him on Blue Sky at MLS Gamut. It's Beau. Beau, nice of you to show up. Hey, welcome in. Did you know? Hey, by the way, Beau, before you go in, you missed the spiel originally, and maybe some people weren't paying attention because they tuned my voice out at the start of the episode.
No, dude, I was totally listening.
Here's a fun fact. It's Gavin's birthday recently.
No way.
Way.
How old are you now?
You
like, what, 25?
I just turned 26. You were spot on. I turned 26.
Nice. Well, congratulations. Happy late birthday or really, 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 really early birthday, depending upon how you want to look at it.
The insane thing would be, as Gavin said, it's neither. My birthday isn't for 6 more months, and Russell's just playing all this up.
That would have been awesome.
I would hate that even more. Well, no, thank you. I appreciate it.
Gavin loves the spotlight on him. He loves it when we talk about him in his personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there he goes.
Well, anyways, Beau, it's good that you're here because we just finished talking about New York Red Bulls versus LA Galaxy. So you can instead join us in this magical journey of talking about the comeback kids who have snapped their hopeless, terrible, awful start to the season by being actually somewhat competent and good. New England Revolution, who went on the road, got a 3-3 draw against Orlando. Our special correspondent on the ground was Gavin. Gavin, can you tell us what you saw? We also have a correspondent corner from Matt Glenn on this one if you want to lead in with that instead.
Yeah, I'll lead in with that and we'll go from there. So, Mr. Matt Glenn says, I've been holding on to my pessimism for a while, but the Revs might be for real. 4-1-1 in their last 6 matches, coming back from a 2-0 deficit against Orlando to secure a 3-3 draw on the road. This was not the team that opened the 2025 campaign. Obvious changes include Polster's return, Chankale's return, maybe a formation change. Definitely a formation change. We'll be putting together a stats-focused post soon. Looking ahead to Saturday, the Revs host Bruce Arena's new team, which will be playing its 3rd game in 8 days. The exhaustion factor gives the Revs a solid chance to tie and a small chance to win, fingers crossed. And yes, my brother, also known as the Quakes on Both Coasts counterpart, will be at the game with me. Well, that'll be fun. So, New England definitely looked competent. You could tell why that they were starting to get results, in my opinion, as I watched the game. They pushed a lot of numbers forward, and we struggled to deal with the volume of players in and around our box. Now, we do go 2-0 up thanks to some solid finishing from Martin Ojeda. We probably should have been 3-0 up at that point. We had a lot of chances in behind their back line because of how high they were sitting, and we just didn't punish them. So at 2-0, we were feeling good, but there was still room left for improvement. Then it goes to 2-2 from good set piece play and just good attacking from New England Revolution. And then we go into halftime, unfortunately 2-2. We come out with our hair on fire. We get a penalty. I think it's Gervais gets kicked in the face. We go 3-2, and then before the penalty, I should say, we had like 2 or 3 clear-cut chances to score. Didn't score them. We get kicked in the face. We get a penalty. We get the goal. We have a couple more chances to score, but we just didn't put it away. We had breakaways where we never even shot the ball. When we're one-on-one with the goalkeeper, we're trying to do fake shots and around the goalkeeper. And it was really unfortunate. We were 3-2. It was a game we should have been 4, 5, or even 6 up. I mean, we had so many opportunities. And then New England go and they get a penalty. We get a little frustrated with the ref, as we do every week. It's just our weekly, get pissed off with the ref for no reason, because he was giving us yellow cards and he didn't give them any yellow cards. And we give away a soft penalty. Like literally, Ganago gets in front of our guy and he is kicking the ball basically out of bounds for a goal kick. And we stick a leg out and he goes over and they call the penalty. And it's something you see all the time. It was stupid from our guy. He's not going towards goal. And so, yeah, they get the goal from that 3-3. We push towards the end as much as we can. We don't get it. But I think the main takeaway is New England Revolution. I can definitely tell that there's been a change there, because their offense looks much better in this formation. Defensively, they have some concerns, though, and I think they got away with it in this match.
Here's a question I have for you, Gavin. I'm looking at Orlando's form, okay? And I'm actually, for that matter, I'm looking at New England's form. Orlando's form, last 5, draw, this one, draw, win against Atlanta, big W, draw. It's 4 draws.
And before that one was a draw, too.
You're not helping my case here, Gavin. Or you're not helping your own case. You're only helping my case.
Yeah.
Whereas New England draw this and then 4 wins prior. I guess what my question is, Gavin, like, is this like, are Orlando City about to fall out of the playoffs? Are they going to sit in 9th? Because I mean, there's a lot of bad teams from 10th and below right now. But what is going on with their form? I mean, like, teams are putting together runs. Look at New England, right? They've put together a run. Why are Orlando putting together a run of draws is the better question.
So the easy answer is we're missing Atuesta. And as I said the other week, whenever we don't have Atuesta, we don't have an offense. Now this week we did have an offense, but I think that was more down to New England's defense than our offense. This was really a game that should have been a win, but largely it's been we can't score enough goals because we fixed our defense and now we don't have offense. I do really feel like we are like this season's Portland, where it's like this season's version of last season's Portland, I should say, where it's like we have a good offense, but if we have a good offense, we have a terrible defense. And Oscar Pereira is super conservative, so he's like, okay, I don't want to have a terrible defense. Well, that takes away from the offense, and so then it's like now we're going back and forth of like we're trying to find that balance, but it's not working, and the balance ends up being a draw almost every time. That's my take.
Fair enough. Beau, you got anything to add, or would you maybe like to chat about a really exciting match of Philadelphia versus Columbus?
I actually want to ask Gavin. You're probably not old enough to remember DeMarcus Beasley, but I heard someone say that like, was it Ivan Angulo is like the Colombian version of DeMarcus Beasley. So any older Orlando fans want to write in on that. I'm curious what your take is on that, because I heard that and I didn't immediately at first disagree, but someone who watches the club more might have a stronger opinion on that than I do.
I can't speak to it. I've saw the end of DeMarcus Beasley's career, but I didn't see him in his prime. So
you didn't get to see him in all his glory. That's a shame.
Now, in this era of MLS, if you saw a player in all their glory, they'd be getting a yellow card at minimum.
Oh, I don't know why that one hit just right, but it did.
Well, I'm glad.
That hit perfect.
Well, let's talk about some matches that do hit, which is any match that involves Philadelphia and Columbus together, which is this one. Interestingly enough, wow, funny how that works, right? So Philadelphia hosted Columbus. It was a 2-2 draw. I got to tell you, I actually thought going into this was a prime Philly win waiting to happen. I thought it was, just the vibes felt right. I was like, you know what? Columbus are in kind of a weird spot. I think Philadelphia, it's still early season for them. They can get a statement win. And it looked like they would until, the very, 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 very last minute when they didn't. Zawatsky ties it up 2-2. Whistle goes. Points are split. I mean,
means the refs got to take a point home with them.
There you go.
It's got to go somewhere. But what I find really interesting, so 2-2. Do you know that Columbus only had 3 shots on target?
Boy, did I. 10 shots.
10 shots, but 3 shots on target.
They had more big chances than shots on target.
Right. And then Philadelphia with 29% possession. And this just kind of goes to the very first thing I think when I look at these stats is, there's always been a correlation to success and possession. Like points per game and possession are usually directly linked. Now, a team like Philly, that's always like the antithesis of, right? Because they don't want the ball. They want you to have the ball and they want to pressure you into a mistake and then counter quickly. But yeah, I found that really interesting that they were literally just told Columbus, like, here's the ball, do something with it. And Columbus, for all they did, they were able to get enough done. But when you actually look at, like, they weren't able to get much with it, which is a testament to both teams, really, right? Because it's Philly to limiting, right, to only like 3 shots on target. Like that's a success, but also to Columbus of not being able to get a ton of chances, but being able to put them away when you get them. The other thing that really, really caught my eye was looking at the numbers was 6 offsides for Philadelphia. That's a lot of offsides for one game. But anyway, yeah, those were my big takeaways on that, which was, yeah, I feel like that Columbus just, when they had their chances, they put them away.
Yeah. Well, and I think if you think about it, these numbers are like the prototypical, iconic, perfect blend of, yes, Philadelphia does not want the ball. Columbus really wants the ball. And the numbers bear that out. But to your point, I mean, when you're in a really pressing system, right, there are 2 things that give teams a lot of challenge in MLS. And it's aggressive pressing teams and low blocks. And in this case, right, super aggressive pressing tends to match up pretty well with a team that really wants the ball, because Philadelphia's always playing their plan 1A. So, and then the offsides, I mean, it makes sense, right? Because if you're pressing, right, ostensibly you're thinking we're going to press, we're going to get the ball, we want to hit on transition. You mistime your run, you're offsides. So the 6 offsides makes sense. And I think if it was a more possession based game for Philly, like if they were 40% possession, 45%, you'd see fewer offsides because they'd have a little bit more time to, time their runs, get that build up. I think the offsides is just a byproduct of the fact that they were able to truly play the iconic, here, you have the ball, and we're going to punish you when you make a mistake.
Yeah, looking at if you guys don't follow MLS analytics on Blue Sky or Twitter, you're absolutely missing out, listeners. You should do it. But the passes into the final third, Philadelphia had 23. The Crew had 76 passes into the final third, and then once they're established in the final third, there was 44 for the Union to 123 for the Crew. So the Crew actually tilted the field really well. It's just that they weren't really able to.
What did they do with it?
Break them down.
Yeah.
I mean, look, they got a point. I mean, that's
a point on the road is almost always good.
A point on the road, exactly. A point on the road is nothing to sneer at. But it does make me wonder though, because it's if this Philly team is able to do that against Columbus, who's actually pretty solid, like they've actually been better. Looking at some of the numbers, they're better offensively this year than they were last year when they had Cucho. And so it's like that's impressive, but also, man, this style of soccer just always makes me really, really wary, because it's that thing of like, when you give the other team the ball, you're just literally giving them chance after chance after chance. And I get it. It's kind of this, high risk soccer of like, you have the ball, but don't mess up, because if you mess up, we're going to punish you. And it makes for a very, very nerve-wracking, like playoff kind of thing. like in the playoffs, it makes for very, very nerve-wracking soccer to watch. It also makes it to where I feel like I should look into that, how Philadelphia have done whenever they go down a goal, because if another team can kind of bunker in and just literally give Philadelphia the ball and just be like, here you go, do something with it.
Yeah. I don't think having the ball is their plan 1B. I don't think it's plan 2A, 2B. I don't think like it's in their top 50 plans.
Orlando
that's
went
a nightmare.
Orlando went to Philadelphia and said, "Here, have the ball," and we got away with a 0-0 draw.
Right. And isn't it kind of interesting though that two of I'll say quote surprise teams, because I think we all knew they were going to be good, but maybe not as good as they are. But like Charlotte and Philly are both teams that and honestly, Minnesota is the same way. Minnesota is another surprise team this year. Like we all knew they were going to be good, but like none of us thought they were going to be like second. I mean, these are all like second place, like contenders for top of their top of the conference, and none of them want to play with the ball. They are very much like, Higo, you take the ball, we're going to punish you in transition.
Hey, question for you. When do you suppose the last time Columbus kept a clean sheet was?
First 2 or 3 games of the season, maybe.
Yeah, the fact that that's a question makes me think it was a long time ago, but I normally would have been like 2 games ago. It would be funny if it was like 2 games ago and you were just like, I just wanted to trick you.
Yeah, it was not the first 2 or 3 games of the season. Here are the teams that Columbus has kept a clean sheet against. They kept a clean sheet against NYCFC on March 22nd, which was the most recent clean sheet. They kept a clean sheet against Houston Dynamo, and they kept a clean sheet against first match of the season, New England Revolution, who were a terrible team. For that matter, I would argue that, I would argue that all 3 of those teams have issues scoring.
Oh yeah. But
yeah, March 22nd was the last time they kept a clean sheet. That stat worries me, I got to tell you. Because when you think of really, really good teams that go deep in playoffs, right? They're teams that can keep a clean sheet. Teams that they have a good defense. Like
that's fair, yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, right? Like you think of Portland last year when they were scoring nonstop. Nobody looked at Portland and said, that's a team that's going to go to MLS Cup.
Right. Yeah.
Because it's like all you have to do is just have one bad game of scoring. Because if you're giving up 3 goals,
I do wonder in their defense. They just got Gazdag a couple weeks ago. Their other main attacking point was Steven Moreira, who's a center back, and so which it's part of the play style. But they were having to throw defenders forward at a higher rate to make up for some of the losses. And so I feel like just now getting maybe Gazdag thing within the last few weeks, like it's going to take time to settle, and maybe it can be a little bit more balanced. So I'm not sitting here saying this is the problem. It's just, it is a possibility at the very least, that they were having to just kind of throw more crap at the wall and figure out what was going to work until they got reinforcements.
Be interesting to see. They're away at Montreal midweek. So
Riveting.
Yeah,
riveting match.
It will be, because do you know what happens 3 days after the Montreal away match? Hell is real.
Pray tell.
Columbus, Cincinnati.
Hell is real.
That will be an interesting choice. Do you rotate and hope that Montreal don't maintain form, or do you risk losing to Montreal?
I think you throw out the Union 2 team and know you're probably going to beat Montreal.
Oh, fair. But one win does not save Montreal's season.
Maybe do a raffle, like pull 11 supporters out of, the supporter group, and be like, you guys are going to play Montreal, and be like, you know what, like, what money are you going to put on? Philadelphia supporters or Montreal best 11? I mean, the fact that, you've even paused is question enough. Now, you could say that you've paused because you're on mute, but that doesn't fit my argument very well. So
it doesn't fit your argument. And I wasn't on mute. I was just thinking to myself that there's a pretty strong chance that if you go and pull rec league players from the Montreal greater, metropolitan area, chances are you'll have pulled players that will have played with at least one former Montreal player who was playing off record in the Montreal rec leagues. Anyways, let's move on here. We're gonna talk about Beau's boys, FC Dallas, Real Salt Lake. Beau, you mentioned something interesting when we last discussed about Real Salt Lake. You said this could be the last time that you see Diego Luna play in person. So one, how was it? Do you feel like it was a good final hurrah to see Diego Luna in person? Did he live up to the hype? Do you still feel that you're not going to see him in person ever again?
I mean, I still have that, that like butterflies in my stomach feeling, like when you're just kind of in awe, like I was in the presence of true greatness,
Right.
And just, I look around the stadium and people just have no idea, people have no idea what they're witnessing. I mean, this is but in all seriousness, he's so good, man. Like, did you see the goal? Like,
Yep.
He has no business scoring that goal. Like, he has no business scoring it. And the fact that he came right in front of me celebrating made it all the more amazing, because I literally just threw my hands in the air. Like, literally, like, he comes over and is like holding the crest, and I threw my hands in the air because I was just like, oh my gosh, like, what did I just witness? Like, that was incredible. And he walked like right in front of me, and I was like, this is the stuff that like you see in Hollywood scripts, and you're like, this doesn't happen in real life, but it did happen in real life, guys. I do think that this will be the last time I ever see him. I mean, the quality is too good. I mean, teams were kicking the tires on him last, this last transfer window. So that's kind of my opinion. But a few things I want to say is with Real Salt Lake, Xavier Gozo, 18-year-old, homegrown for them, really, really impressed. He's still really, really raw. Out on the right side, but his explosion in pace and quickness with the ball was really, really cool. I talked with Pablo Mastroeni a little bit before the game and kind of talked to him about stuff, and I know that they're wanting to go to 3 at the back. Like, they're wanting to play with 3 center backs, but obviously, like, they've like Philip Quid and Kobe, and then oh my gosh, what's his name? Brian Vera. Anyway, they've got like 3 center backs that are injured. So all of a sudden, this team that had a glutton of center backs, all of a sudden is now like kind of in like a minor crisis in the position, which is very peak MLS. And I'm here for it. But one of the things I thought was kind of cool was like watching how many times Alex Catronis was just left out there by himself in no man's land. And I told him, I was like, man, that's a lot of pressure on Alex. And he goes, well, that should kind of tell you how much we trust him. And Dallas's lone goal comes off of Catronis being left out there, and Anderson Julio cooks. I mean, Anderson Julio's pace and speed with the ball is just one of the tops in the league. Absolutely unreal. And so, Catronis does the best he can being out there, but when you're isolated like that, you're not trying to go in and win the ball. You're just trying to limit options. And he just didn't have enough help coming back didn't have enough recovering help from midfield to help him out on that. But yeah, I mean, 1-1 draw. I will say this. I'm not a big, the referee in this game was pathetic. It was, I mean, throwing out cards. I think we had a card in the second minute for a foul that was just a foul. I was there were fifth minute. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. And it was just there were so many cards that it was just kind of a foul. Willie got a second yellow for simulation, which should have, right? But the first yellow was like vanilla ice cream, soft serve ice cream soft. I mean, I was sitting here how are you giving a yellow for that? Both sets of players were walking off at halftime and they were all shaking their head there were so many fouls. The game never got a chance to actually flow and actually pick. It was so frustrating because you're these are two teams that they don't really quite have their attacking identity yet. So they're just kind of slugging it out, and you're this. Both teams actually have an equal shot of winning this game, so I was excited to see it. But the game never could get into this flow because the ref is just every single ticky-tack. If a guy tripped over his laces, it was a foul. The wind blew too hard. It's oh, Mother Nature, yellow card. I mean, it was insane. But yeah, and then to actually see that later on go and affect the game with Willie Agata picking up a red card, which looks stupid on him, right? For you're sitting on a yellow, you shouldn't be diving. But at the same time, the first yellow was not even remotely warranted. But yeah, overall good game. Like I said, I love Diego Luna. The quality is real. The fact that he can create chances out of nothing is insane. What Real Salt Lake is going to do when he leaves? Listen, it's not a question of if, it's when. And listen, before you guys are oh, we never keep, you have to understand. Diego Luna, a lot of these guys, they want to go play in bigger places. They want to challenge and see how they go against the very best. You can't sit here and say, we're not going to let you leave, because that means other players aren't coming to your club, right? If you get an opportunity to go to England, Spain, Italy, you take that opportunity, right? And I hear so many MLS fans being yeah, it's a trash league. No, we should never get rid of him. It's no, dude, you have to. You have to do what's best for the player. And so, anyway, I'll get off my
Yeah, I was going to say that's your soapbox. Hey, two questions for you on this game. I think we'll need to move on, but there are more Dallas related.
Corner, by the way.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll do the correspondent corner. It's super quick, so it's not a big deal. It's for RSL with Mike. He puts a GIF of Diego Luna, and he just says, "Get this man some help," which, yeah. For Dallas, Beau. One, how nice was it to see Petar Musa back on the field? And two, I want to hear your thoughts on Kaik, if that's how you say his name, because I've been really impressed.
It's Kaike.
Okay.
They're adding an E at the end because apparently so if you guys don't know, it's Kaick. Apparently that's also some type of the way you phonetically say it, it's a racial slur, which I did not know. I learned this. Yes. So okay. I was so they're adding an E at the end.
Okay.
So his name is Kaike.
Kaike. Okay. Thank you.
So yes, no, for real. Yeah. Cause I was I had no idea that was a thing. That was even a word. But anyway, yeah, Kaike, I have been incredibly impressed. That guy has been absolutely amazing. To answer your question, he has literally won the starting job out, just straight up, which is incredible. I think he's 18, 19 or something.
FotMob says he's 19.
19, perfect. And then Petar Musa, I was glad to see him back. He had no real impact on the game at all. Again, I
think you guys have missed him, is basically the point I've been making recently.
I have missed him. I mean, again, I'm a Logan Farrington fanboy. So I enjoyed having him there. I don't really feel like he got the most amazing support and stuff with what he did, and I feel like he did well with where he was. But again, this whole thing, and I still don't know what this team's attacking identity is other than get the ball to Lucho. I just don't know. There's the occasional like weird high press triggers that they're going for, but it was nice to see Musa back because it's nice to have another guy out there who can maybe have some brilliance. But again, I honestly, until you said it, I totally forgot that he made an appearance. Even more impressive for me, Paxton Palmacal came back. He's been gone for a year and a half, apparently. So for those of you guys who don't know, he had this basically this surgery that's the equivalent. I can't remember if it was knee or hip, but it's this is a Hail Mary attempt to save your career. Like he was done. Like he was not coming back. And so this Hail Mary attempt actually worked. So the fact that he came back was really, really cool, because I know he has been working incredibly hard for the last year and a half to try to basically not have his career ended at 25, 26. So to see him back on the field was a really, really cool thing. Russell's categories.
My cat very much agrees. He very much agrees to be not with me right now. Be here. Hey, Beau, I looked up the number. Do you want to guess how many fouls are noted as being in this match? How many whistled fouls are noted as being in this match? You're muted, by the way, if you're talking, which you are, because I can see.
I was actually just moving my mouth to trip you up. Believe it or not, I was going out. I have no idea.
27.
34.
34.
34.
So that's literally every 2.5 minutes, every 2-3 minutes there's a foul. Wow. And that's because you have to remember, guys, that's just fouls. That's not goal kicks, corner kicks, or throw-ins. That's whistle fouls. So you have those stoppages built in. Again, wow.
I hope you had 15 minutes of stoppage time in each half. I guess that you probably didn't.
8 minutes in the first, and I think 5 minutes of 5 minutes at the end. And I think the first was mostly because of an injury, but on-field treatment. But yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. Hey, other fun fact for you, Beau. Do you want to guess what percentage of Diego Luna's shots across the entire season have been on target? He's taken 21 shots.
He has. Okay.
He's taken 21 shots.
He has 10 shots on target, right?
11. 52.
11. Okay.
52%.
6 goals.
He has 7 goals.
Okay, yeah, that was 7. So he has 7 goals on 21 shots. I mean, that's pretty. That's a pretty crazy conversion.
Yeah, his
shots on target, 7 of 11. That's insane.
Yeah, his per 90 on goals scored is right around 0.7 goals per 90, which is elite.
It's funny because every time I like I said, when I'm at the ground, I'm checking scores around the league, and in the second half is usually when RSL kicks off of the Orlando City games, and I'll see a goal pop up, and I'm like, oh, RSL scored. Hopefully it's Diego Luna because he's on my Golden Boot team, and it's always Diego Luna.
He's the only person scoring for RSL.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you're not watching RSL, which, look, I got to be honest, at times it's not the most pretty, but watching the individual moments of brilliance that Luna has, just, I mean, I would say half of the goals that he scored this year, of those 7, I would say 3 at least, maybe 4, he has no business scoring. Just literally straight up wills it in. I don't know what Salt Lake's going to do when he leaves.
Luna and Anelli, they are the 2 players that it's worth watching.
Emeka Anelli's incredible. Emeka Anelli reminds me a lot of Darlington Nagbe. Yeah. Kind of just you can't get the ball off of him. He's so good.
Yeah. I'm trying to pull it up, but the per 90 on Brian White is, I think, the only one I know of that might be better from a per 90 standpoint on goals per 90.
Most likely, yeah.
Because I think I saw that Brian White is sitting at 0.90 goals per 90 this season.
Sheesh. That's absurd.
I believe Carlos Vela has the record, and he was at 1 point, his peak in 2019 was 1.05 goals per 90.
That's a joke.
But the fact that we're even mentioning Brian White in the same breath as Carlos Vela, and where it's he's not that far off, guys. He's really he's a 2-goal game away from passing Vela.
Yeah.
That's absurd. That's absurd.
Yeah, it's exceedingly impressive.
Like, it has to go up whenever. Now, is it one of those you're going to get more goals when Gauld shows up, or is it going to be less because now there's more? Like, because Gauld's a chance creator.
I wanna have this discussion, Beau, in the Vancouver match because that's something I've legitimately been thinking about a lot lately. And I really want to talk about it, but I want to talk about it where it belongs in that match because I think we're going to spend like 10 minutes talking about it. So I'm going to move us on to a very standard, like regulation type match. It's Houston Dynamo 1, Seattle Sounders 3. I mean, like, I don't know what else you expect from Houston at this point. They got a goal, they went up, right? Well, not went up, they drew level, and they got a red card. Yeah.
Harsh red
and
card,
then,
in my opinion.
I mean,
another harsh handball call.
I agree, but it feels like it's the story of Houston's season, to be honest.
Yeah. Also, Musovski is on a great run of goals scored. I think it's 5 games in a row that he's scored a goal in.
I think it's 6 now.
Is it 6 now? Okay. Like, just really impressive form. I never would have seen him tearing away like that. Similar to Corey Baird a few years ago, where it's like, oh, this guy's not just a career backup. He's actually a player who could be a starter if you play to his strengths. Interesting.
It is 5 in a row.
5 in a row.
Okay. Now we just need Musovski to get a big deal.
Yeah.
And then totally forget how to play
and just
soccer.
just be a backup again. Yeah, so that's been great. Obviously, Kent has been amazing for Seattle since he's come in. I also saw a stat for him that he was the fastest Seattle player ever to get to 3 assists. He did it in like 100. I think the stat was 116 minutes. So like, that's really impressive. I don't know if they're real assists or not. Let's be fair, because MLS assists are not real assists. But yeah, Ryan Kent's been great, and he's been exactly what this team needs. And so I think it's a solid win for Seattle, but one you'd expect them to get.
Yeah,
in the circumstances.
I think that's all you can say about it, unless you're Beau,
100%.
who might have something else.
They went out and took care of business. Like you said, if they don't beat Houston, we would be kind of like, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Is Houston the other team? Have we relegated them to the instant 3 points along with LA Galaxy?
So I'll answer this for you. I made the thumbnail for your guys' Western Conference discussion for the YouTube post, and I put Vancouver really big right in the middle because they deserve it. They deserve to be right in the middle. I put 2 rows of 3 of the same size, and then I put Houston in the bottom left corner, and I put LA Galaxy in the bottom right corner, and I made LA Galaxy really small because they deserve it, and I put Houston slightly bigger than LA Galaxy. And so, yes. I know you're going to say no, Beau, but yes.
I don't agree. I mean, I know like Andrej Linder is playing out of position for them. You know, he's playing out on the, was it left? Right? Anyway.
Left.
But like, you know, he's left. Okay, I thought so. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was left. Like I was just watching the game. Whenever I got a text like, hey, where are you? And I was like, nothing. But no, and it's one of the things that they mentioned. Like he's more of a second striker, more of a chance creator, and he's having to go out on the left because of injuries. So I think if they, and honestly, like with Jack McGlynn on set pieces, like he's probably, and I know the absurdity of what I'm about to say. I think he might be the best set piece taker in North America. Your silence is deafening. That's okay.
I mean that's a.
I don't have a counter.
That's a hot take.
Yep.
Sure, I'll allow it.
Big gulps, huh, guys?
Yeah, I'm gulping down silence. Is what I'm gulping down.
Yeah. You know what? I said it.
Hey, here's a fun stat while we're on the topic. I've got some players who have meaningful minutes, right? Like more than just like 1 or 2 goals. Who do you think the top 3 players are in terms of goals per 90 with like meaningful like
are we talking about Houston or are we talking about
just in general
like across the league? Okay.
Yeah, just in general.
What is it like more than 3 goals?
Let's call it more than 3 goals, or maybe we can say more than like 500 minutes
per 90.
Okay,
Brian White.
I'm gonna go Musovski because Jordan Morris started a lot at the beginning of the year.
Both of you have correctly picked them. There actually is one person ahead of them.
It's not Kuipers, is it?
No, he starts every game.
I didn't think so because like he's starting a lot.
Is it
Ty
Baribo?
Baribo. Yep, Ty Baribo.
Because he's
Ty
been benched.
Baribo.
He's been benched a couple games.
Yeah, he's on
Is it benched or injury?
0.92 goals per 90.
Is he been benched or is it injury or?
Oh, maybe it has been injury.
Okay, I'm not sure. I literally was like, what did he do?
Well, either way, Ty Baribo sitting on 0.92. Brian White and Danny Musovsky are both tied at 0.90. And I'll tell you right now, I didn't have any of those three people anywhere near. Like, if you told me that they were sitting at like elite levels of per 90 for the number of minutes and goals they've scored, if you told me that at the start of the season, I would laugh at your face.
Brian White doesn't shock me, but you guys know I was a Brian White homer like before the season started. But now the Danny Musovsky one is the true shocker. Like that's the one that's like, this was a dude who, like, Real Salt Lake, like he was just not play. He was like practicing with their reserves, like because of like, you know, contract and like disputes with the front office, and then just went to Seattle, did nothing, and then all of a sudden here he is. Really big chess guy, Danny Musovsky.
More you know.
Didn't know that.
Like a chess wizard. Yeah. He's playing chess while the rest of the defenders are playing checkers.
So far, yeah.
Well, let's make like checkers and hop our way over to somewhere else. We're going to talk about Nashville versus Charlotte.
Go King, or King you. Yeah.
Gavin, I'm waiting for you to make a joke now as well.
I don't do that around here. That's not true. I definitely do that. But...
Look at that. The man gets 1 year wiser and thinks he's better than us. He's
I just don't have
down
anything.
on his nose at us, Beau. He's too busy digesting over there.
I'm not on the spot like that.
Yeah. Okay, well. All right, well, hey, Nashville versus Charlotte. Nashville hosting Charlotte. Many people saying Charlotte a top team in the East. I would agree with that, right? Nashville, very, very gutsy win, I would say. It's the type of win that, you know, Charlotte goes up early. Nashville, there's concerns about them, right? Mentality-wise, performance-wise. Immediate response from Mukhtar, like literally immediate, right? Like 48th minute goal from Abada, 49th minute goal from Mukhtar. Schaffelberg sends him up, you know, 2-1. A few minutes after that, kind of goes back and forth, a little bit leaning towards Charlotte, but like Nashville sees out the match, 2-1. But it's got to be a big sigh of relief if you're Nashville. It's got to be a sigh of stress if you're Charlotte. But I mean, Charlotte's road form has never been their strong point. So I don't know how much I read into this for them. And Beau, you're still muted, by the way.
It did take a goal of the year candidate in order to, you know, actually beat them. Like that little back flick before Mukhtar chests it and puts it in. I mean, you could do that 100 times and that's probably not going in most of the time. So to be fair.
Still, to be fair, they did win this with 2 goals, 2 see out a win, 2 continue climbing the table.
I think this was just a high quality game. 2 teams, really good. Okay, Russell. Yeah, Nashville, Charlotte, they're very good defensively, historically, and this season I think they've been pretty solid defensively. Offensively, both have improved this season as well, and I just think it was a close game. Like the teams were set up well, and it was really just another one of those games that just, it was a game on the margins. You know, Charlotte didn't finish some of their chances that maybe they should have. You know, Zaha was in 1-on-1. It was forced a good save out of Willis. But then, you know, Mukhtar scores the banger, and Schaffelberg, honestly, his goal isn't a high percentage chance either. And it's really just, I feel like a game on the margins. But yeah, 2 high quality teams, 2 of the better teams in the East this season, going head to head. It was a good watch. 2.
Yeah. 2.
Whatever.
Hey, here's just another note here from this match, right? When was the last time that Nashville won a match on the margins? Legitimately, right? Like,
kind of depends on your definition of margins, though, right?
I guess the last one that I'm thinking of, right, is like RSL, which
they
won.
I think winning 7-2 against Chicago was on the margins.
I was just about to make a Chicago reference.
Sorry,
I don't know if
fans.
winning 7-2 is winning on the margins, unless it's, you know, the margin of error, which is probably the only way you could adequately describe this from a statistical standpoint.
If we call it a 1-goal win, which I would say a lot of those are on the margins. I just went through their whole season, and it's only been once, and it's the RSL match you referenced. Although I'd also argue the 3-1 over Philadelphia earlier this season was on the margins as well, because Philadelphia had some rough refereeing go against them in that game. But that's just my opinion.
It's a different kind of margins.
Yeah.
But Gavin, remember, professional referees conduct an internal assessment, and they always ensure the highest quality of refereeing for every single match.
I'm sure they do. I 100% believe that.
I sure don't, but I'm glad you do. Any other notes on this? I mean, like I said, I take nothing from this loss for Charlotte, and I think it's just because I am part of the big home fortress lobby that supports Charlotte and their home form dominance and just completely writes off their ability to win on the road. All right, I'm seeing none, I'm hearing none. It's a combination because we have the joys of cameras here. So I'm moving us on to talk about St. Louis versus San Diego FC. I almost said San Diego City FC. Darn St. Louis. Yeah. I getting all my words mixed up, right? It's 10:30, almost 11 o'clock on a Monday night. Only had 3 cups of coffee today. Tell you what. Nowhere near enough. Those are rookie numbers, Gavin. I know that's why you're shaking your head. I should be drinking 6-7 cups of coffee a day.
I have maximum 1. Very rarely do I have 2 cups of coffee. Maybe like once a year. Maybe.
The great thing is this mug that I have. This mug that I have is it's roughly like 700 milliliters of coffee, and I do tend to drink minimum 3 of those a day.
Madman.
You do realize that almost 98% of our listeners have no idea how much 700 milliliters is.
Well, they should know. Here's the thing: if you multiply 700 by 3, you get 2.1 liters, and if you just visualize a 2 liter of Coke and you replace that with coffee, it's a lot of coffee. Some would say.
There's no way that cup holds a 2 liter of Coke.
I just said this holds 700 milliliters.
Oh, okay.
I was told there would be no math.
Fair.
Oh, I did. Yeah. You didn't have to do the math, Beau. I did the math for you.
Yeah, but I don't know if I can trust your numbers.
Well, here, trust these numbers, okay? The numbers say that San Diego are a good team and St. Louis is a bad team this year, which is interesting because I was following Matt Baker on Blue Sky. Matt Baker, for those of you who don't know, a host of Flyover Footy, wonderful St. Louis podcast, has been on the show a couple of times. Great follow on social media. Broke down some of the numbers for St. Louis, and they're actually creating better chances per Matt this year than they did last year, which kind of it gets me wondering, right? Is this a player issue? Is this an Olaf Melberg issue? Because they were finishing last year pre-Olaf Melberg, but they were creating fewer chances. So in my mind, if your players aren't finishing and you're creating more chances, that's a coaching issue.
Yeah, it's a coaching issue. The type of chances they create, the amount of chaos they create, the amount of players they throw forward, that's all a coaching thing. They're not scoring because they are too conservative. I mean, nothing encapsulates St. Louis City more to me than them going on a breakaway and the ball falls to Teukert at half field, and he's the only St. Louis City player in the opponent's half. He is like one step into the opponent's half, and he just takes a long shot from literally the halfway line, because there's no way he's going to be able to run the whole length of the field and get a goal. There's nobody up there supporting him because everybody's in their half. So the literal best thing that he could do is take a shot and hope he can chip it over the goalkeeper. That encapsulates
the long ball.
What was that, Beau?
I said, you know what they say, chicks dig the long ball.
Chicks dig the long ball. Yeah, it was just, that encapsulates their entire approach to me. Just that one moment. That and what their approach is defensive, right? And so my bugbear in this game is go watch the second goal they concede that ultimately is the winning goal, Dreyer's only goal in the night, but the second goal of the game. There's 3 defenders back. Dreyer gets on the ball around the goalkeeper, and all 3 of them just run and then just stand in the middle of the box to guard no one. And then they watch him get the ball calmly with no pressure as the goalkeeper's scrambling to get back in his net, and they watch him take a couple touches and then just slot it home past the goalkeeper. It is horrendous defending. Horrendous. Like, if I'm Melberg, like, none of those players are starting the next game as like a just a way to like send a message, essentially. It was terrible.
To be fair, that was a very narrow angle, though.
Someone has to go and run at the guy with the ball who is one-on-one with your goalkeeper. I get it's a narrow angle, but come on.
No, like you're both right. It's a narrow angle, but at the same time, your goalkeeper should never be the one pressuring the guy on the ball when you have three other defenders in the box. Your goalkeeper shouldn't be the one looking around going, all right, I guess I'll be the one who keeps him from running to point blank range. Like
it is a good finish, but
a few things. Yeah, a few things. I think that Roman Berkey still being out is huge. Like him not being able, I think that a lot of people really underestimate the importance of a good goalkeeper conducting a back line. Really good goalkeepers can call out things that their defenders can't. And younger goalkeepers, like how old is Lunt? He is
not as young as you think.
He is not as young as I would thought. Holy smokes, 29. Wow.
Let's go the experience angle.
Yeah.
Okay, he's just not as experienced as calling out runners or anything else. Sorry, Ben Lunt, catching strays here.
It's okay. He got plenty of strays when he was with FC Cincinnati. The fan base gave him plenty of flack.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that another thing too, Edward Leuven's only played in 6 games this year. And he's another one who's like probably their main chance creator. And even then, his I don't know the stuff, but even that for him off the field, his wife's battling brain cancer. So, like even he's not, probably still 100% there. So there's all kinds of stuff that are kind of going on with that a little bit. But, those are 2 really important players. Another one, just kind of a name to throw out, Celio Pompeu was incredible until he snapped his leg. Like, was it last year? Maybe a year before? I can't remember. I was at the game. I just remember being horrified hearing the snap and then seeing him go down and it was gruesome. But he's finally back and is kind of showing some of those creative juices and stuff. So maybe that's the thing. But honestly, am I the only one? Like, I don't get why João Klaus is a locked-in pen starter every game.
I don't think it's that he's a locked-in pen starter as much as it is the players they would actually want to have written in pen just aren't in a condition to go 90, apparently.
I don't think he's in condition to go. Like, he's not a guy I want out there for any real amount of time, if I'm being totally honest. I think he's still kind of living off of his, his very early feast of goals that he had, during the very first season. But yeah, there's several stuff, like if you guys listened to the show or didn't, we know that you learned that in the Western Conference, look that, that their defense is way, 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 way overperforming. And, Joshua Yarrow kind of definitely showed you. The fact that you're relying, look, when you're playing 3 at the back, your center back, your one in the middle is kind of your defensive anchor. And many things have been used to describe Joshua Yarrow over the years, but defensive anchor is never a term that has ever been uttered in a serious manner. So things are not super rosy in St. Louis.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a correspondent corner from Tyler on St. Louis, and you kind of hit on a lot of it, Beau. So well done with your analysis. So he says, I don't see a path forward with Olaf Melberg. Rewinding to my season preview, I think all of my worst fears have come true. I was worried that while he was a good fit for what the club is trying to become philosophically, he lacked the tactical acumen needed for a senior squad. Check. I was worried that a then hypothetical Berkey absence would leave a leadership void on the field, and Leuven would be the best positioned player to help stop the bleeding. Check. And then Leuven had to take a leave of absence. Double check. I was concerned that Klaus would keep holding back and be a chance creator for no one. Check. He says, it's time to end the experiment. As gross as it tastes, hopefully Kansas City can do us a favor and give us the front office no choice and give the front office no choice after Wednesday. That is a crazy thing to say, but
Maybe Ravioli guy can become the head coach.
maybe, yeah.
And it can't be worse, right?
I want some toasted raviolis now.
I know. I want toasted ravioli.
Why would you put that out there into the world, Beau? You know I'm on a diet. You can't just be
I know,
tempting me with
especially this late. I'm sorry. That
toasted
wasn't nice.
raviolis, man.
Mm.
Road trip. Gavin, you in? You want carpool?
I'm so down.
All right, there we go.
It's really weird though that toasted ravioli, but also their shirt sponsor is Purina dog food. Just kind of, it's like a weird.
Well,
weird combo.
I mean, the Purina's probably got more money than local toasted ravioli makers.
True, St. Louis toasted ravioli has Purina. Just saying.
I'm not looking inside any of those toasted raviolis. I'm just gonna douse them in marinara and just shove them into my face. All right, let's move on, Beau. It's time for us to talk about two sides that we had a lot to say about in our preview: Colorado Rapids, San Jose Earthquakes. The Quakes won away at Rapids. They continue to be the team that I have no idea what you're going to get week in, week out, right? So Earthquakes go. It's a 2-0 win over the Rapids at home. The Rapids didn't, like, you look at...
The Rapids got a clean sheet. Like, what? What? I didn't know that was an option.
The Rapids got their own... The Rapids were a clean sheet against themselves.
San Jose won 2-0.
Yeah, San Jose won 2-0.
Sorry, I said Colorado. I meant San Jose. I'm so sorry.
Right.
Yeah, I totally got that.
But,
I don't know. Whatever.
What chances did they have to even score? Like, looking at Colorado, they didn't...
Chidozie Awoziem literally passes it to Chicho Arango and is like, hey, bet you can't score 1-on-1 against Zach Steff. Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
To be fair, it was more a clearance that bounced kindly for Chicho, but it was you can't do that.
No.
Yeah. I'm just guys, I'm looking at their shot map.
It should have been worse though, right? Because like I think it was who was it? Buddha was making a run in the middle, and I don't know if maybe it was Costa or Rodriguez, one of those, but they decide to try to shoot it on goal from a super crazy tight angle from kind of far away, rather than just like a nice pass across the middle, like Buddha would have just like tapped it in with like, could have like stopped and tap dance before he did it, had that much time. And just, so it's like, it could have been worse. It should have been worse than 2-0.
Yeah. Colorado's offensive threat was non-existent. As I'm looking through, right? Just to fact check myself, they had 5 shots in the box. Only one of those was on target. Everything else that was on target was outside the box. I mean, those are low percentage shots. You don't expect to get much out of them. Like, I know what's
really interesting is that they had, so the passes into the opponent's box was 8-9. So it was almost identical. It's just that San Jose is able to do stuff with it. You know, the Colorado actually had more passes in the final third than San Jose did. San Jose just took their chances and shoved them down your throat.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Like, Beau, you summarized it well. I have no idea from the from the mid-season, the third of the season check-in, right? I have no idea what we're going to get from Colorado on any given week. Because theoretically, like, they have the talent to turn those shots into something or to make a better shot, right? Like, I don't get it. I really don't.
I'm starting to wonder if maybe Chidozie Awoziem, and which Ian Murphy didn't even play this game. But I'm starting. Maxo. That was it. Maxo was the other center back. Who actually Maxo was one of the was their best player statistically in this game. And then their second one's Reggie Cannon. So their 2 best players were defenders. That shows that. I just they're leaky defensively, and I don't know enough if this is not, they're not getting help from midfield, if midfield are letting runners through. But I mean, really, the only good success story, the only real positive thing this year about Colorado has been Darren Yappy. Darren Yappy's finally started to put the ball in the back of the net. But I don't know. Like you said, this is one of the most schizophrenic teams that I've seen in a really long time, because it's like literally they're their own worst enemy. They have the ability to go out and beat anyone, or go out and literally just walk out into the middle of the field, drop pants, and take a dump right in the middle of the field. I mean, just and then trip over it and slip on it and give up a goal. Like it's insane.
Yeah, defensively, they're giving up, in terms of shots per 90, they are, I think, seventh on shots per 90 against. And then on shots on target per 90, they're sixth against. So they're giving up like a high volume of shots and shots on target every single match. So that certainly doesn't help. And I wonder if just it's one of those margins things where it's like either the team scores their shots or they don't score their shots. And then Colorado is able to get points based on how the other team does, or if Zach Steffen just has an amazing game.
Yeah, I mean, Zach Steffen has been the best goalkeeper in MLS so far this year, and it's not even really close. Like it's borderline like Christian Colina levels last year. And so to think that to think that it should be way worse, that like it all rests on whether or not like some saint has come and blessed Zach Steffen's boots to fly through the air and like stop time and like Matrix level stuff.
Yeah, he's been very impressive this season, Zach Steffen, for sure.
Yeah, but not impressive enough to save him in this match. So 2-0 loss, and they go again this week.
Midweek games. Yep.
This is also a team without Cole Bassett too. They are playing without Cole Bassett, which is not.
He did come off the bench, but yeah, he's not starting.
Right. Yes. Fair. 100% fair. And then they're still playing Kevin Cabral for some weird reason. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, not having Cole Bassett out there, like having to start with Josh Atencio in the middle. Like I like Josh Atencio, but he's not a guy that you want to have to give keys to the midfield and say, "Hey, you need to be one of our key guys." That's just, yeah,
that's a choice.
That, I mean, I guess you've got what you've got. So, I mean, that's probably better than playing with Kevin Cabral out there.
Maybe.
Well,
hey, look, I'm gonna redirect this ship. Okay, I'm the captain. I'm putting my hands firmly on the wheel. I'm twisting us away. We're gonna talk about something much more exciting, which is Portland Timbers versus Sporting Kansas City. Now, I say this was an exciting match. It was a 1-0 match, which is weird because I expected this match to be so much more lopsided towards Portland, and it wasn't.
I had this like a 5-4 game.
Yeah,
just something crazy.
And it wasn't lopsided. It was actually quite even, which shocked me a little bit because I mean, like early goal for Portland. Moreno, great goal, 10 minutes in, right? And then you're like, oh, Portland are rolling. They're going to do great. I mean, it's a pendulum. Like Portland were on top of it. Then SKC are on top of it. And Portland are on top of it. Like it looked like two competent teams, which is crazy because Sporting Kansas City was one of the two teams in this game. And competent isn't the word that I use to describe them for the vast majority of 2025. They won certain metrics. That's the crazy part.
They've gone back to basics ever since the new head coach, or sorry, the interim head coach came in. They've gone straight back to basics, and look, that's only going to get you so far, but it is going to get you to a point where you look competent.
Yeah, I mean, they're, despite this being, I guess, like, despite this being a match where it's clearly a side that's supposed to be better in Portland, like Sporting Kansas City created more and better chances. They had more passes, in the opposition half. They had more accurate long balls. Like,
right, but when you look at their actual shot creation, so again, like shots are graded on great, good, average, poor. Great is 50% of the time, etc. Sporting Kansas City didn't generate a single great shot. They had 7 poor shots, 1 average, and 3 good. Whereas they gave, the Timbers had 1 one great, one good, one average, and the Santi Moreno goal was scored on an average chance. So it's just, but again, they're creating chances, but they're not quality chances. Like Manu Garcia just hasn't been good enough. Like he was the guy who was supposed to come in, help create stuff, this and that, and like he's skying shots. Like he's not really creating. There's several pieces missing on this team. There's not those couple guys who can grab a game like a Santiago Moreno or David Ayala or is it David DaCosta? Is it David? I always forget his
I
first
think
name.
it's David, yeah. David or David, yeah.
David DaCosta. Those guys can get those moments too. Maybe not to score a goal for them, but create a chance for someone else. Sporting Kansas City has none of those. Like none. And it's just, you're not... I mean, Gavin nailed it perfectly. They're going back to basic fundamentals to be competent, but you're not going to win a wooden spoon, which is good.
Galaxy got that on lock.
Yes, but you're definitely not going to sniff the playoffs. But at the same time, at least they've stopped the bleeding. At least they look competent, which is more than we can say for a long time. So it is a step in the right direction. It's just that for Kansas City, this is going to be... You're not going to fix this in one transfer window. Maybe two is aggressive. This is going to be... You're going to need a year, 2 years to get in and actually replace these guys, to get a system going and get chance creators in.
I think, Beau, one of the things that you said resonates with me in that they don't have, like, look at Garcia, right? Brought in to be the guy, not being the guy. They don't have anyone on that team outside of Garcia who you would look at and even say, oh, I expect them to be the guy. I mean, Joveljic, like, I don't know if I expect Joveljic to be the guy. He was...
Joveljic isn't creating his own chances is the thing.
Yeah.
Like he can finish, I mean, even with LA Galaxy, which is what made him so good. He's Gabriel Peck, Joseph Paintsel, and Ricky Puig. You're creating chances for him. Right. So it's like he's relying on Suleimanov and Shallowy, who is always making the wrong choice, or Manu Garcia, and they're not doing it.
Yeah, the only person I could see who could step up and be the guy and create some opportunities would be, like, other than Garcia, is Davis, and that's literally just from him running around like a madman, and something comes his way.
He's more of like that traditional 8, like maybe kind of 6, where he's just like effort bowl and a China shop guy. But like maybe Eric Tomey, give him the keys and get out of the way.
No,
but
he is not good.
I'm with you. No, I'm
actually
like I don't.
In the CONCACAF Champions Cup, they gave him the keys because he was their outlet ball against Miami, and he did nothing with it. He got in behind time and time again, and he was a 0 for them on offense. So they tried that already, and it was a failure.
So Manu Garcia is Eric Tomey 2.0.
I guess so, yeah. Just with a little bit more technical skill.
Suleimanov has probably been their best player so far this year, right? I mean, he's the only one who, like, at least whenever they were here playing, I saw him. He's the only one who I could tell was actually threatening. Like, I wasn't worrying about Shallowy.
And
what's crazy bad is we dumped on Suleimanov at the start of the season.
I think fairly. I don't think he's been great. He's been bang average.
But the fact that he's been...
But bang average is the best player on that team.
Yeah, that's...
Portland, I know we talked a lot about SKC. I think Portland, they've consistently been a good team this season. I don't think there's any more questions to be had about them at this time. And this could have been a 2-0 job instead of 1. I think they'll be kicking themselves that it wasn't 2. But it is what it is. They got the win, and right now they're in 3rd in the West, right? Like, I think they are easily going to be a playoff team, and I think home playoff team might be their level this season. That's what I'm seeing from them right now.
Wow.
That's a strong take.
That is very strong for me.
Gavin clearly did not listen to Beau and I talk about Portland on the West recap.
Listen, guys, you're going to hear about it.
You listen, Gavin. Listen, it's a 2.5 hour episode. Go listen.
I'll go listen to it. I might not agree with it, but like Portland have been they've been consistent this season. They've faced a lot of different teams, good teams, bad teams, and for the most part, they are getting results. So,
Yeah. Hey, here's a really fun fact. Second place to sixth place in the West, each one of those teams is ahead of the next place by exactly 1 point.
yeah, really
So,
close.
22,
cluster.
21, 20, 19, 18.
Like a big choo-choo train.
Yeah. It's a big old MLS centipede. All right. Gavin,
Didn't need
don't
that
roll
picture.
don't roll your eyes too hard there, Gavin. We're gonna keep on moving along, okay? I'll be the front of the MLS Now centipede. But anyways, we got Vancouver Whitecaps, we got LAFC. Hi, uncomfortable. I'm Russell. If you find my jokes uncomfortable, you can block me on social media at Mr. Danger. Anyways, Vancouver Whitecaps, LAFC 2-2. Great way to cap off the weekend. I think a great selection of Sunday night soccer. I don't know if I assume they scheduled these well in advance, right? Like it's not like anyone, goes into the season saying this is going to be an amazing matchup. I think they just picked this matchup, and it just so happens that it was an amazing team in Vancouver versus a perennially good team in LAFC. And what I gotta wonder here, Beau,
I don't know, man. The playoffs were that they had the best playoff series.
but yes, but there were questions about them coming into this season. But either way, I digress. Beau, we got to talk about the thing that I said we were going to talk about now, which is Brian White scores 2 goals in this match. What happens? Because I think we're getting close to when Gauld is maybe going to be starting to come back. Fingers crossed for that. What happens when Gauld comes back? Because right now, Brian White is a focal point. Does Gauld detract when he comes back in? Or is this an enhancement where now it's like Brian White is going to score, but you have to take people off of him to do something about Gauld?
Question, you said detract and enhance. Are we talking about this through a Brian White lens, like a Brian White owner lens for fantasy, or from a Vancouver thing?
Let's do both. Let's say you have Brian White on your fantasy team, or let's say that you're just a casual Vancouver fan, but I want to hear both perspectives because I think the answer is different for each one.
Yeah, right now, it can only be good, right? Because if you think about this, like right now, Pedro Vite and Sebastian Berhalter are machines right now. They are the chance creators. So, and the defenses are mostly trying to shut down Brian White's chances. All of a sudden now you insert a Ryan Gauld in there who can play, which I don't know how.
Who do you even send to the bench?
They've been kind of rotating out. Is it dang it. There's like 3 guys on Vancouver. It's the 3 of like their newer signings that I just always get confused. It's like
They
You're talking
have
Ali Ahmed?
Ngannou, Ocampe. Like there's just like 3 guys that I cannot. Yeah, Ngannou started this game.
Mhm.
So listen, you can't bench Kubas. Kubas is just as important to this team as White and Gauld. Like he is locked in pen starter. Like when you look at their win percentages, like last year from when he was there and when he wasn't, it's borderline astounding. It's like Messi level numbers. It's incredible. It has to be Ngannou or Nelson, right? They're playing a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
But think about it. But think about this. Like Jay Nelson's picked up a few times this year. He's already picked up a couple of injuries, right? So heavy workloads are tough. Imagine you get Ryan Gauld or whatever, and then all of a sudden now you can pull Pedro Vite, who's been starting out on the right. You can pull Pedro Vite and then throw in Jay Nelson. Dude, that's pretty killer. Then you have Gauld and Jade Nelson, who are 2 amazing chance creators, both outside of White.
So
I think it helps Vancouver.
First 3 games of the season, Gauld was available.
Mm-hmm.
And he started on the left all 3. Okay. On the right, in the first game was, you should all know this, Jaden Nelson, because he had that amazing performance where he had a goal and 3 assists. Okay. Second game, Jaden Nelson was on the right. Third game, Ali Ahmed was on the right. The midfield for all 3 games was Kubas, Vite, Berhalter. So it's really Gauld and White are going to be the starters, and then you are rotating a cast of Ahmed, Nelson, Sabe.
Gondo.
Well, Gonda's a midfielder. He's a central midfielder. Um, I think that's
Well, I
really
guess
the
maybe Vite higher up because Vite's been playing on the right, and then you're getting him
yeah,
Vite and Gondo kind of switching out. I mean,
yeah,
the guy's got options, which
or it's
is
Sabi.
kind of
Sorry.
incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I think Gauld though. I think you get him back in. It's just the nice thing is they don't have to rush him, right?
100%, and that's what I was going to say. It's the big thing. It's that him getting back in, he's not going to hit the ground running. Like it's not going to be like it's going to be a gradual thing. But luckily, the team is doing so well that even he doesn't feel the pressure. It's like he can come in and he can be 100% and be ready and not feel the need to push it or play through pain or anything like that. It's gosh, this Vancouver team is special, man.
You know who really stands out to me as special? Tristan Blackman.
He's done really well this year.
I mean, just
I was always a Ranko Veselinovic fan, but this year, like I'm starting to see, especially Tristan Blackman's really long throws. I mean, those are so fun to watch. I love good long throws. Like Blackman and Boxall are like two of the better ones in the league at it.
yeah, it's just his numbers are just like he's a good center back, right? But it's not just that he's a good center back; it's that he's involved going forward as well. And we kind of see this in other teams, right? It's like here's a great example. Cincinnati. If you watched Cincinnati versus Austin, there was one point in time when Nick Hagland was making a run as though he was an outside like midfielder, like a wing back, running in all the way up the field. And we've seen like Chidozie Awaziem has done this as well with Colorado. And, it's just one of those things where it's like you see some center backs do this occasionally where they go on this adventure, right? But for Blackman, he's like, it's very clear that he is intentionally making himself felt in an offensive capability. And teams don't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, he's stepping really high, and it's really great to see. I like him better in this back four role as the right center back than I did when he was the right center back in a back three under Vanni Sartini. I think this suits him much better.
Just an interesting little thing to throw out there. So obviously, final score 2-2. LAFC had a 2.22 expected goals. Vancouver Whitecaps only had a 0.77.
Helps when you have Brian White.
Yeah.
It does, and interesting that Vancouver got 0 great shots on goal, and LAFC had 3. But again, it really felt to me like, and it really felt to me that still, even more so than last year, LAFC is really like, I hope Bawanga can do something, like I hope he does it where it's like Vancouver is playing team soccer, whereas LAFC is relying on individual moments of brilliance still. I mean, Miami, it's not necessarily a bad thing, right? Like Miami is dependent upon Messi's individual moments of brilliance. Great players, you can rely on those guys. But like, I mean, if you think about it, like LAFC's an injury away from a spiral down the table, because it's not like there's a cohesive system in place, but maybe there is, and I'm just not seeing it. But yeah, I found that kind of interesting that the XG battle was definitely one sided.
Here's a question: Under for LAFC, flop signing, yes or no?
He's in on loan, so does it count as a signing?
He's taking up a roster spot.
He is, but it's one of that was the roster spot they were saving for Griezmann anyway. So it's that thing of like, hey, like I think his loan's up in July, like when they were planning on trying to get Griezmann kind of thing. So it was just kind of a temporary stopgap. But like, yeah, like it's interesting though, because you look at him and it's funny because I was literally just like on the David Goss on Soccer Wise was just talking about this, or if it's like he's one of the most frustrating players, and that you look at it, you're like, this guy's got everything to be a superstar in this league, and he like honestly, like I was expecting him to be like Anders Dreyer, like level performer, like he's got all the tools to be it, and he's just like, there are legit times I forget he's on the field. Like I forget that he's there, and that's just
I wonder if they really like built him up and like he wasn't just some loan signing who was a temporary stopgap who he knew he was gone in a couple months. Like if they built him up like they did Carlos Vela, I wonder if he would have been a more impactful signing for them. Instead, he's like starting some games, not starting other games, coming off the bench. You can kind of tell he's not the priority. And I mean, Martinez is kind of playing better than him in my opinion out on that right side. So like,
Martinez, and yeah, for sure, 100%.
so it's kind of like maybe in another timeline he comes to LAFC and lights the world on fire, but I don't feel like he has that mentality.
Yeah, is it well, yeah, and is it like one of those, like, if they don't say that, like, is it a thing of like, because I mean, it was kind of announced, say he's only a temporary loan, he's gone in July. Does that like mess with his thing of like you come in with your exit dates already planned?
Yeah,
Like, does that kind of mess with your
it,
gel system of like, you even like, am I even going to attempt to get settled here?
it'd mess with mine. Like I'd be kind of like, okay,
Yeah.
like I'm here to just kind of be part of the roster. I'm not gonna
You're here to just
really,
punch the clock kind of thing. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go get myself injured playing as hard as I can for this team who I'm gonna be leaving in a couple months.
But
That's a
what's
good
interesting
point.
is that he's leaving as a free agent. So this is his showcase for the contracts that he's supposed to be getting. So that's the really confusing part.
I wonder if players at this level don't worry about that as much. You know what I mean? Like some team out there is going to sign Cengiz Under based on his name, based on his repertoire and what was it, Serie A, like his European experience. Someone out there is going to give him a contract. He's got an agent who he pays to do that. So like, I wonder if he's just like really not worried about it. I mean, it's a good point, but also like,
Yeah.
I just wonder if that's kind of the mindset of someone who's like, yeah, oh, I'm not scared that I will get a contract. It's just a matter of where.
Yeah,
He's
I mean, wasn't it Bill Manning, the guy in Toronto? Was that Bill Manning, the guy who he signed Insigne and Bernadeschi?
Mm,
I think his scouting was based off of their FIFA rating. And their
yeah.
He went to free
and their,
agents
like,
on transfer market. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, and transfer, and it's just like, yeah. So I mean, look, if that guy's running the club, you know that there's at least a couple out there who there's other dudes running the club like that. So yeah, you're probably right.
Do you guys think he stays in the league?
No. Mm-mm.
I mean, what team would? Because a guy
Colorado.
like that's going to demand. I mean, they did take
they
Kevin
took
Cabral,
Kevin
that's
Cabral.
fair. I mean, but that guy's going to require a really big contract deal, like a big deal. And here's just play devil's advocate because it's not a terrible question. Does he play better? Obviously, with LAFC, even with Under there, Bouanga's the guy. What if he's the guy? What if he's, the Chucky Lozano or the Bouanga, which he probably would be on a Colorado?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
does that if a team is built around him and everything like that, does it change? I say no, but I mean, it's at least it's a valid question.
It's a valid question. I agree with you though, Beau. I say no. I don't think it changes anything. I haven't loved what I've seen from him. When he subbed on, I was like, great, cool, neat, a player, a body, and like
I think
Gavin.
the only time they said his name was when he subbed on, right?
Quite possibly, and I mean, to Gavin's point, like you're playing for, I guess, right? You're playing for a contract, but maybe you don't care. Maybe you already know where you're going. Weird.
It was a heck of a game, though. It was a fun game to watch,
High
especially
quality.
watching Vancouver. Like, man, they were going all in. Like, all four of their defenders were in the LAFC half, like, and not just like barely beyond the halfway line, like a good ways in. Like they were going all in. It was fun soccer.
Yeah, just two high quality teams going at it. The referee letting some fouls go, but I think it was just in the spirit of the game, like two competitive teams going head to head. It was a great match to watch.
Yeah, it was nice to watch a game with an actual flow this weekend.
Yeah. Hey, Russell, I'm sure you're about to sign us off, but just want to say a big...
Hey, I'm signing us off.
No. I just want to say a big thank you to our listeners for always tuning in. But also, we are steadily growing over on the YouTube. We surpassed 100 subscribers a couple weeks ago. So just want to say a big thank you to all the YouTube subs. If you're not subscribed, if you're just a listener on the pod, go give us a subscribe on YouTube. I know you have an account. So just got to go over there, search MLS Now Podcast, and give us a subscribe, help us out a little bit, get a little bit more viewership on the YouTube. We do post on YouTube. Our lovely faces are on the YouTube. I got
cats on the YouTube.
Cats on the YouTube. I got the last one up late, so my apologies for that. But the most recent episode when Beau and Russell did a mid-season check-in for the Western Conference teams is up.
I don't know if it's a mid-season check-in anymore. I think it's just like a third of the season
check-in. Yeah.
I mean, it would. Yeah. We should do. We'll talk off here. We should try to do a giveaway or something for the people that are actually subscribed and do something.
Yeah, there's 108 of them.
Hey, if you have ideas for giveaway, comment it on this video and only this video.
I've got a few ideas. Don't worry.
All right, Beau, go comment.
Cat hair float down.
Yeah, there's a lot of cat hair in this house. I'll tell you what. That's what shedding season does for a Siamese.
That's right.
You may as well be vacuuming 24/7. I just take the vacuum off the charger and just follow the cat around the house, get it at the source. All right, well, hey, that does it for this episode. It is now, I'm gonna date and time this episode. It is now May 12th. It is 11:30 p.m. Eastern time as we sign off on this episode. So we hope that everyone listening liked it. If you're watching this on YouTube, thank you very much. Just like Gavin said, we appreciate everyone who's following, watching along there, staring at our somewhat good-looking faces as well as Gavin's face. But you know, can't give him too much birthday love and let it go to his head. Although that might be a good thing, Gavin. Get more headed goals, right?
Right. Yeah. My ugly little head.
Well, it won't be little for much longer. We'll give you more praise. We'll get you Olivier Giroud levels of forehead. Don't worry. Anyways, hey, once again though, appreciate everyone who continues to listen. Appreciate Gavin. We appreciate Beau, who saw the text in the middle of the episode, said, "Hey, are you guys recording?" And I'm like, "We're in the middle of recording. We always record at this time." Hopped in, joined us for the bulk of the episode. So Beau, thank you for hopping in. Just a reminder, you can find Beau on social media at MLS Gamut over there on Blue Sky. You can find
Fashionably late.
At Fashionably Late on Blue Sky. Not his
had to
actual
find my FC Dallas shirt, I guess. We'll call it that.
Yeah, wardrobe malfunction, but we're glad he waited until he was properly functioning in his wardrobe before joining us on camera. Gavin, as always, you can find him on social media at LionsBlog1. Go wish him a happy birthday on the YouTube or on social media. Smash that follow button, blow up his notifications. Just give him a big old smile on his face, because he doesn't smile too often on these episodes because we pick on him all the time. And then finally, of course, you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast, where you can follow us, you can interact with us, you can even harass Gavin via the MLS Now Podcast. You can just tag him there, and we'll read him out live on air. So hey, in the meantime, enjoy the very short week this episode will come out, and you'll probably hear it like same day or maybe next day of when the midweek matches happen. Till then, folks, enjoy. Got 2 match days this week. Have fun. Enjoy some soccer. And as always, till next time.
Till next time.